Happy Sunday to you. Here we go. It is NFL Week 2. You're here at Bet the Gambit. I'm Kenny White, the Wizard of Odds. Been in this business for over 40 years, making numbers. I was 12 years old, I think, the first time maybe I got involved in sports betting with my dad, calling Chicago to get the weather. Weather is so important. Weather looks great today in the NFL. Shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So let's get on to it. This week's action. I'm going to start with the Circa and their Millions contest and their Survivor. 8,675 people left going into this week. 22 people did not submit picks, and 5 people had the Dolphins. Knocked out 27 more. Perceived value going into this week, $1,644 for a $1,000 ticket. That's a really nice value. It's almost too much to pass up. You know, it is over 14 million. You want to play it out, but you're almost at the point now where you could actually hedge. If you just wanted to make some type of profit and get money back, you could, because getting to the final is going to be awfully tough. Or you free roll and you go again one more week, and your perceived value after next week should be over $2,000 on each ticket, each one of your tickets. So number one pick this week, the Ravens, obviously laying the 8 to the Raiders. 2,300 people have selected the Ravens. The Texans are second on that list, -6.5 to the Bears. Now, these are not point spreads on the Survivor. It's just win the game. So the Ravens are an 8-point favorite, but all they have to do is win. Texans the same. They have to win. The Chargers, the third pick, they're a 6-point favorite on the road. So all three of those top picks in Survivor, Ravens, Texans, Chargers, those sound like 3 teaser teams for you this weekend. Could it happen that one of the top teams gets knocked out again? Last week it was the Bengals, the number one pick in the contest. It was over 4,000 people had the Bengals in that game. Now, there's only 2,000 on the top 2 and 1,000 on the third one. The money is spread out. The teams are spread out much, much more evenly this week. In the Millions contest, 5 games, the top 6 games, I'm going to tell you. Texans, -6.5. That's number one on the list this week. Looking for the Texans. Over 1,900 people selected the Texans. Just 300 people picked the Bears. Number 2, the Chiefs, -5.5 this week against the Bengals. People are going against that Bengal team from last week. Number 3, the Colts, -2.5. Colts are on the road at Green Bay. No Jordan Love. Number 4, the Jaguars, -3. Jaguars hosting the Cleveland Browns. Number 5, the Ravens. Let me switch that up. Ravens are just five picks ahead of the Jaguars. So Ravens are the 4th team, -8 over the Raiders. Jaguars the 5th team, -3. 6th team is the Cowboys, -6.5. What do those top 6 picks all have in common in week 2 of the NFL? I'll give them to you again. They all have something in common. The Texans, -6.5. Chiefs, -5.5. Colts, -2.5. Ravens, -8. Jaguars, -3. Cowboys, -6.5. Yeah, all 16, the top 6 teams in the contest are all favorites. It's just simply amazing to me. And I thought about it this morning. Maybe you could use this Millions contest to actually make money. I had a friend long ago, the Jeff Garrett, who taught me the bookmaking industry and how to be a bookmaker. And he was the best bookmaker I've ever seen. Just so sharp and so smart, and used bettors' information for his advantage for the book to win. Used to love to go against these top 5 picks. He will be on the dog in all 5 of those games. But then I thought, hey, these are pretty sharp people in this contest. What are the top dogs that they've picked? Maybe that's the different way to look and look at their dogs. And I looked at Thursday night right away. 142 more people had the Bills than the Dolphins. That was one dog. That was the second highest top dog of the weekend that people picked. The top dog, the New England Patriots, +3.5 at home. Over 325 people have the dog over the favorite in that game. The Titans +4 against the Jets. 102 people have the Titans. 102 more people have the Titans than the Jets. So the top 3 dog players in this week's: number 1, the Patriots; number 2, the Bills. They already won and covered, and the Titans are number 3. I'll look at this each and every Sunday for you, so keep you abreast of what's going on there in the Circa contest. So week 2, looking through my schedule, and again, I can't wait to look ahead to week 3 with you today because I don't have to adjust my totals anymore because they're going to be out of the preseason. I still feel like week 2 is a preseason week. These guys are still trying to work their way into shape, get to that kind of midseason form, and that's how I've rated them out. That's how I've rated my totals out. Defenses are ahead of the offenses this time of year because of that fact. So the offenses will get a little more continuity, might have a little bit more overplays in week 3. Well, that week 2 here coming up. My line, the Ravens 10.5, and I'm going to just take the 6 points off right away. 36.5. This game 8-42 right now. I do like this under. I think the Raiders are going to be a conservative team. The Ravens do run it more than anybody in the NFL, and they do take their time. They're pretty methodical. The Raiders had a very difficult time scoring last week, and now they're playing at 10 a.m. in the morning against the Ravens. Will they be awake in this game? I know a lot of people love the Ravens in both that Survivor and the Pick'em contest. And I made it 10.5. I'm not laying the points. The Ravens will celebrate like they won a playoff game if they win by 1. So that's the problem with betting on favorites, that you lose your bet and the team is happy as can be. Chargers at the Panthers. Chargers, I made 8-32. Definitely underplay for me. A couple weeks ago, I looked ahead. I gave you this game. The total was 42. 42 at the Westgate. Circa open 39.5. Bet down to 39. It is still 39.5. I do like that under. Dallas Cowboys, I made 7.5 and 32. They're playing the Saints. This is a bigger underplay for me. Again, Saints, I think their defense is far better than their offense. And the Cowboys we saw last week, they put up points on offense, looked pretty good. And CeeDee Lamb did not play a tremendous amount of snaps like he normally would. We'll see him more this week. He did have really good stats. They targeted him 10 times. He only caught 5 passes. There you go. Not in game shape. CeeDee Lamb's in game shape. You throw him the ball 10 times, he's probably going to catch it 7 times for you. He's that great of a wide receiver. My number right on this opened 7, was bet down to 5.5, back up to 7. So that's where the Cowboys stand. I'm passing there. Detroit Lions, I have 9-42. Another under game for me. This total was 48. Open 48. It is 48 right now. The side of the Lions down to 5.5. I do know a lot of people do like the Lions. Come on up a big win last week, playing again at home. It's actually up. I see. Had to go to the Superbook to get the overnight lines. And let's go. Spank out screen. Move quickly for me. And there's 5.5 still at Circa. There's 6s around town. I see DraftKings at 6.5. Wow. May tell you something. A lot of sharp bettors. The sharpest bettors in the world bet at the Circa because they don't kick anybody out. And they take large limits from everybody. They're very fair to their customers. And again, they don't kick anyone out. Neither does Westgate. A couple of books here in Vegas that do that. South Point, another one. South Point's at 6. So that's kind of the market number, but it tells you something. With the book taking 100,000 right now, let me see if that's the limit. 60,000. The limit is 60,000 right now on the Lions Bucks game. So if you want to lay 5.5, you can lay that for 60,000. And that's Derek Stevens. He's from Detroit. He's a big Lions fan. So he's allowing you to have the best of the market in that game. Maybe something to think about, be aware of today. Green Bay. I made Green Bay the adjustment without Love. Green Bay 1/2 and 47. Make that 41. I got to take the 6 points off. Can't wait till next week when I don't have to do that. This game, the Colts open 3. They are 3. Again, that's one of the top plays in the Survivor contest, the Colts. And then also the third highest play in the Millions contest. They're betting against Jordan Love in that game. Malik Willis will be their starting quarterback. He does have experience with a highly touted kid out of college and a highly drafted kid. So there is a drop off of 4 points, but I still don't have that big of a difference making the Packers 1/2 in this game without Love. I always say don't lay points with a bad team. The Colts are not a good team. They're not a better than average college NFL team. They're just not. So if you lay points with the Colts today, you're laying points with a bad team. That's all I can tell you. If you don't have to bet the Packers. Just don't lay points with a bad team, especially on the road. At a place like Green Bay, when you know it's going to be hostile and they're probably going to be a little bit more conservative on offense, everyone knows they have to step up and play a better game without Love in the lineup. So that will be a team that plays extremely hard together. Jacksonville, I made pick and 45. They're a small favorite and open 2.5, went to 3, back down to 2.5, total 42 right there, basically. 49ers, I made them 16.5. Best team ever I've rated in the NFL in the history of me rating out NFL teams, and I've been doing it for 30 years. I do say the athletes continue to get better and better and better and better. My ratings continue to get higher because I rate off of things like size and speed and strength. There's no doubt about it. Athletes today are bigger and stronger and faster than the athletes were 20 years ago. When you go back, and I'm maybe dating myself, and a lot of people may not know who he was, but William the Refrigerator Perry was with the Chicago Bears. And the reason he's famous is he was a very large man, and the Chicago Bears had the best team in the NFL that year, the best defense by far. They used to put him into the backfield at the goal line and let him run the football. And there was a famous prop, one of the first props ever in the Super Bowl. Will William the Refrigerator Perry score a touchdown in the Super Bowl? He was 75-1 to do it, with that all the way down to 10-1 before kickoff. And the Bears, in a rout, won over the Patriots, and William the Refrigerator Perry scored a touchdown in that game. He was one of 3 players in the NFL that weighed over 300 pounds. One of 3 in I think it was 1986. One of 3. There's over 400 guys in the NFL that weigh more than 300 pounds now. That's just simply amazing that day and age. And now it's so different. And that's why my ratings are higher, because I rate off of a chart: height, size, speed, strength, all of that. And it goes into the equation. Players are better these days. 49ers are the best team that I've ever rated out by far. They're the favorite over any team ever. They're even a favorite over the Patriot teams with Tom Brady right now. And they've just got so many stars on both sides of the football. I've never seen a team this good before. So I made them 16.5. They're playing the Vikings. You know, last year they had a similar situation where they played, I think it was a Monday night game or a Sunday night game. Oh, no, it was a Sunday game. And then they flew to Minnesota and played on a Monday night game, and they lost straight up to the Vikings last year. So that has got to be something that has been discussed. Hey, last time we did this, we just did this last year, they beat us. You know, Monday night is a game where I love the dogs because everybody's watching. And I feel like teams give their best effort on that night. Those teams are fired up. It's the biggest game for them. They're not very good. They know it. But it's Monday night or Sunday night or Thursday night. They know the rest of the league is watching and the rest of the world, and they do not want to be embarrassed on that night. They play extremely hard. Well, this game's going on Sunday. It's not the same feel, and it's a rebuilding job for the Vikings. Yeah, they did play a great game last week versus the Giants. Brian Dable does a horrible job coaching, just does not have his teams prepared, doesn't make adjustments. He's going to be out very soon in New York. Vikings against the 49ers. I just made the reference. I think the 49ers would be a favorite, and a small favorite. The year the Patriots went undefeated and lost in the Super Bowl, that team is probably on the same level playing field with the 49ers because they did improve throughout the year. I'm talking about a power rating that beginning of the season, I've never rated a team this high at the beginning of the season. Now, the Patriots every year continue to cover spreads and win big, and that rating got adjusted up. So a lot of their teams were probably on the same playing field as this team. But again, pound for pound, every one of these 49er players are bigger, they're taller, they're slightly faster, and they're stronger than those players were from the Patriots in that day and age. It's just a fact. Over time and evolution, these players continue to get bigger and bigger and stronger and faster. So done with that. 49ers, big play for me today. 1.5%, big play for me today. I still don't go crazy. I make a huge case for them like that. They're on the road. They're laying points. Again, if they win by 3, they're going to celebrate like they won a playoff game. They're going to be so happy. Everybody's going to be interviewed. They're going to do a Gatorade bath, and they didn't cover. But so that's why it's a favorite. You can't bet more than that. Stay within your bankroll. Make it a normal play. If you want to parlay the 49ers money line to Houston, if you like Houston in the late game, go ahead and do that. I won't say the Eagles on Monday night because I like the other side. Let's move on. Seahawks at the Patriots. I have the Seahawks 33.5. Another game I like under. I'm going to preview that game for you right now. Seattle, Mike McDonald's the head coach. First year as a head coach for the Seattle team. Pete Carroll no longer there. Mike McDonald was with the Baltimore Ravens for 9 years. He was a linebacker coach. The last 2 years he served as their defensive coordinator. He was very well respected. He replaced Don Wink Martindale as the defensive coordinator at Baltimore. Harbaugh family really likes this guy. Geno Smith's their quarterback. They have the 18th best offense. They have the 12th best offensive line, tied for 12th best. My defense, I don't have their defense rated that high, 30th right now. They're just on the cusp. These defenses are so close in the NFL. They have a couple of good games defensively, and I moved them up. I might tell you next week I got them 13th or 14th. They started the season 12th, and one game they dropped that far because of just almost percentage points. I have them the 15th best team in the NFL at a 100.5 rating, and I have the Patriots a 97 rating, 28th on offense. Very weak. Jacoby Brissett's their quarterback, but I do have them the 6th best defense in the NFL. Their head coach, Jared Mayo, first time ever as a head coach. He was a linebacker coach for the Patriots. Wow, a lot of similarities between the head coaches, that they're both in their first year as a head coach. Both were linebacker coaches. And defensive coordinator-wise, Mike McDonald was the guy in Baltimore and called all the plays. Jared Mayo helped with calling the defensive plays the last 2 years in New England. And they were a top 10 defense last year. So he bleeds blue and red Patriot. Jared Mayo does. He played for the Patriots. He was a stud linebacker. 6'2", 242, ran a 4.54. This guy flew for his size. Amazing. He was just a great player in his days with the Patriots and Super Bowl champion. His offensive coordinator brings Alex Van Pelt in from Cleveland, who was the OC there for 3 years. And if you remember Alex Van Pelt, if the name sounds familiar, he was the starting quarterback at University of Pittsburgh. And in his time at Pittsburgh, he broke all of a guy's name, Dan Marino, I think, broke all of his records. Van Pelt had a really good college career, had a cup of coffee in the NFL. Now an offensive coordinator, has been a quarterback coach for a long time, getting this job here after 3 years as coordinator at Cleveland. Kind of, just another move for him to get his name spread to be a head coach one day. Alex Van Pelt will be a head coach in the NFL, especially if the Patriots have any type of offense in the next couple of years. That offense has been down 28. So a game that I told you I bet it under. This was another one that I told you 2 weeks ago, bet the early line under. That was 41.5, I believe. So you would have got 2 points the best of it. Again, my total 33.5. It's 39. The Jets, I made 2.5, 31.5. Another big under. Jets play the Titans. Don't really like the Jets offense. Aaron Rodgers looked nowhere like, didn't look anything like Aaron Rodgers. And the defense is outstanding. Even though they got beat up on the road at San Francisco, it was a night game on the West Coast. Those are always tough. Those players aren't used to kicking off at 8 o'clock at night. They're already winding down for their day at 8 o'clock at night. And it was a 5 o'clock kickoff in the West Coast, but it was 8 o'clock East Coast time. That's what their internal clock was on. So that's always a difficult spot. This will not be. They're in Tennessee. They will dominate. They will give Will Levis a lot of different looks in this game. They will make him struggle. So that is an under for me in week 2. Commanders, I made a 1-point favorite over the Giants, 36.5. The Cardinals, I have a half a point favorite over the Rams, 48.5. Those numbers are very close. The Chiefs, I made 9 over the Bengals and 45. A little bit of value on the Chiefs. Again, very small play, maybe a 1% play on the Chiefs today. We will go up. Last week I had a winning week in the NFL. If I win again this week in kind of preseason games, what I call them, next week I feel like these players are more closer to midseason form, even though it's only the 3rd week. They are, because they're playing 60 snaps on the field per week. They're getting their wind. They're getting their legs underneath them, and they're going to be closer to the rating I gave them at the beginning of the year. I will up my bets if we win this weekend in the NFL. The Steelers, I made 5 and 31.5. Another under. Pittsburgh We saw them last week. They couldn't get in the end zone. They do love to run the football. They're playing a team in the Broncos that are playing a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. I think you'll see them get conservative. They're really very well coached on the defensive end. So again, under there in Denver and Pittsburgh. Houston, I made 6.5, 43.5. The line is pretty tight. There's really no value for me. A lot of folks do like Houston. As I mentioned, Texans, the number one pick. Over 1,900 people selected them in the millions contest. Minus 6.5 in this game against the Bears. Could be a fade. Caleb Williams could be a fade. The luckiest win of last weekend. Bears were the biggest overachiever with a punt return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown. Their quarterback throws for less than 100 yards, and they win the football game. So will that luck continue for the Bears in week 2? And looking at Monday night, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'll break this one down for you tomorrow on Bet the Gambit. I'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Before I forget, special thanks to my daughter, Alex White. She's producing today from the South Point, where her and Jeff Parles will be on air at 9 a.m. They'll take you right up to kickoff, an hour of NFL talk with Alex White and Jeff Parles this morning. Sports by the book, 9 a.m. Tune in, go to YouTube, subscribe and like. Hey, subscribe and like here too, please. The more subscribers, the better. I love it. It just shows people are interested in what I've got to talk about in sports. And obviously, I love to talk about it. I love to tell you what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, how I changed ratings and things like that. Week 1, me taking 6 points off my totals. That's just what I have to do. I don't want to make that's a huge adjustment. It really is. Major adjustment. But there's many unders in the first 2 weeks. And I don't want to change my over-under number on those teams to get there. I would have to change each team 2 points on that over-under, lower it. But then I'd have to raise that right back up in week 3. So I'm just easy for me. Just take the 6 points off and go from there. Monday night Eagles, I made 2.5 and 48.5. Totals right on. Side is not 6.5. Love the dog. Love the Falcons. They didn't play well in week 1. Kirk Cousins didn't look the greatest. It is Kirk Cousins on a standalone game. But again, you're going to get a great effort from the Falcons. This defense is absolutely loaded. They're very, very good defensively. Overall, as a team, I think they've done a really nice job. They've got a lot of really good skill players. Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson. You got a couple of backups on that team that are outstanding specialty guys. So it's a good football team. How long will it take for them to gel to become the team that I think they are? Mid-season form, I think they're the 6th best team in the NFL. That's how good I think they are. I have some tickets on them, some future tickets. So let's take a look at week 3 real quick before I jump into some baseball and get you out of here. Well, first I'm going to give you a couple props. Greg Sidoris, my prop guy. Greg's been my guy for over 30 years. We've done fantasy football leagues and fantasy betting together for 30 years. We were executives in a company called Hot Roster that we did fantasy football matchups, and Greg was my main guy in the NFL putting those matchups together. A couple of plays that he likes today from Minnesota. Ty Chandler over 22.5 rushing yards. Ty Chandler over 22.5 rushing yards in the Chicago Bear game. Cole Kmet under 18.5 receiving yards. I love unders in props. I love seeing players fail. I guess that's what I want. Failing to what the betting line is. I want to see them have an okay game. Week 3, let's look ahead. Jets and Patriots Thursday night. I have the Jets 9, 34.5. That's without taking any points off. I have a lower total right now. The Jets 7 and 38.5. So 4-point difference. It's not a big enough difference, but they are crossing a lot of key numbers. So number-wise it isn't, but percentage-wise it is. I'm going under. I'm betting this game under 38.5. I haven't bet any of these yet. I'm going to make some bets, though, once I get off the show here today and talking with you this morning. And it's been a pleasure for me, enjoying your coffee with me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. It's been this is the end of 4 weeks. That's it. 4 weeks I've been doing this, having a great time with you. Next week we start week 5. If you want to get the power ratings, the power rating sheets are $25. There you go. I should have Alex White's voice telling you all about it right now. Go to KennyWhiteSports.com. Subscribe at the power ratings. Subscribe here on YouTube. It lets YouTube YouTube know how many people are subscribing, how many are viewing, how many are following. So I really appreciate it. It's been fun talking with you every single day. Alex White actually fills in on Tuesdays, so I'm here 6 days a week with you. Alex does Tuesdays for me. Thank you, Alex. Looking down the schedule, Steelers 236.5. They're 2-37.5. That number's right there. Colts, I have 2-47. They're 2.5, 47. Right on. The numbers are right on those couple of games. The Texans, I have 6-48.5. They're 3.5, 46.5. I'm not laying 3.5 on the road, even though I made it 6. Browns 10, 42.5. They play the Giants next week. You can lay 6.5. I will. Hate laying that number, but probably take back 7 or 7.5. I think if the Browns look good today and the Giants are horrible once again, which there's a chance of that. They are playing Washington. My total 42.5. It's 41.5. Nothing there. The Eagles, I have 5.5, 49.5. Again, my power ratings, the sheet that you get, the PDF that I emailed you this morning for my clients who are subscribers to Kenny White Sports Power Ratings. You got that in email today. That's the number, 75% of the equation. The other is a 25% is the science behind the game. The Eagles play on Monday night. They host the Falcons and then have to travel. That's a 2.5 point drop off right there. I would adjust my number to 3 automatically for that factor. The Buccaneers, I made them 7.5, 42.5. They're 5.5 and 43 right there. Titans, let's make the adjustment here. Titans are going to be 4.5 and 39.5. They're 1.5 and 40.5. Game 1 at home. Packers today. I hope they really give a great effort, and I hope they're in the game. I hope they give themselves a chance to win, and I hope they do. Next week they go on the road to Tennessee. I think that's a play on Tennessee. And the sheet I sent you, that's not an updated number without Love because, he did not go on the IL. They think he could come back quick. So I did not take him out of my equation, my ratings. So I need to factor that in. Now, we can't bet this game early in advance because we don't know if he comes back next week. We'll see. The Raiders, here's one. I don't know if I want to lay points with the Raiders, but I made the Raiders 9 and 38. They're 4.5 and 40.5. I don't know if I want to lay 4.5 with the Raiders, but it is the Panthers. And if they look really bad again today, the Raiders are going to end up being 6 or 6.5 next week. So you could lay the 4.5. Hope the Raiders give the Ravens a little bit of a game this morning, and then hope the Panthers get blown out. Seattle 1.5, 48. The Dolphins are 1.5, 48.5. That adjustment has to be for no Tua. I didn't make the adjustment yet. They're talking about retirement, so I'll make that adjustment on that game after today. I'll probably have Seattle about 4.5 in the game without Tua, and that's the longest travel in the NFL, Miami to Seattle, and they play at 1:00. That's 4:00 Eastern game. Not bad for a East Coast team though. It's not 8:00. The Lions, I made 7.5, 53 over the Cardinals in Arizona. The line 4.5, 52.5. Slight lean to the Lions. Love that team. Love Dan Campbell, how his team comes to perform. Ravens are at the Cowboys. Cowboys, I have 0.5 and 42.5. It's pick and 47. If you could find a 47.5, I'd go under there. Not a lot of value though. 48 is really the key number. I would really be excited about 48, but they moved it the right direction. 49ers, I'm probably going to be on them every single week. I made them 13 and 57. They are 6 and 47. Not a bad situation for an over game. It has been hot. It still could be warm next week in LA. That would help scoring. The Rams are going to have to throw on every down. That's what Stafford's going to do. And the 49ers should have their way with that Ram defense. It is a rivalry game, but I'll be on the 49ers and on the over there. Chiefs 2 and 50. They're 3.5 and 47.5. Falcons coming off a Monday night game. At least they are at home, but they do lose a day to prepare, and that hurts when you're playing the Chiefs. The Bills 4 and 50. They're 4.5, 47. The Bengals, I made 10.5 on Monday night, 49.5. They're 6.5 and 49. The public will probably be on the Bengals unless they just look horrible today, and we both have to adjust them down even lower. So it's going to go up. It'll be 7 probably on game day if the Bengals look decent today against the Chiefs. And I think they will, because I think they're going to step up. They'll come to play. They have to after last week's loss. Let's go into baseball real quick, and then I will get you on your way. Get on my way. I've got a lot of numbers to crunch in college football today before the circ opens at 10:30 a.m. I want to be prepared for them. All right, looking down the list, Major League Baseball. Bad day yesterday. It has been good, but my two teams lost. The Diamondbacks lost yesterday, and the A's lost yesterday. Down the list. Mackenzie Gore, $1.30. I made over the Miami Marlins in this game. You can get plus 155. It's a small lean to the Marlins. I don't know if I want to bet a bad team. They have lost 2 in a row. Not a team I'm looking to bet. I did not bet that game. Pasadena there. The Phillies, I have $1.75. You can lay $1.43. That is a little bit of value for me there. And again, Major League Baseball, surprisingly, thank goodness this morning, no pitching changes from what I had overnight, and not one line move at the Circa. Not one as of like 6:30 in the morning. I'm sure they've moved a little bit now, but there was no line movement, which was very surprising to see, like a ghost town. Nothing in the Brave game and Dodger game. That's the Sunday night game. Bueller has been awful, and Morton has been really good. But offensively, the Dodgers are far better. I'm expecting Bueller to come around one of these times and look like Walker Bueller. The Cubs are playing in the Rockies against the Rockies in Denver. This is Kyle Hendricks on the road, a weak, soft right-hander that struggles, a 6.51 ERA. Cal Quantrill had a nice run during the middle of the season, but as of late, he's been rather average. 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs in his last 5 starts. If he can give up 3 runs in 5 innings today, earned, maybe he gives up 4 runs, but 3 earned. And we know we're going to get some out of Hendricks. I like this game over. And it could be warm there today in Colorado. Check the weather. I believe it's in the 80s, maybe close to the 90s. If it gets to the 90s, that's very important because it does help the ball travel and carry much, much more. I made it 12.5. You can go over 11. That's definitely a play that I bet already, and it's a play that I would say to you in confidence, let's bet that. I have a half unit on the over in the first 5 innings of 6 runs and over 11 for the game. Looking down the stretch, Diamondbacks, once again, I got to go right back with them because they got their ace on the mound. When you got your ace going, coming off 2 losses now, Zach Gallen's my guy, laying $1.50. I made it 183. So Arizona, mark it down. Cubs over, Arizona the side, laying the price. Good pitching matchup in Cleveland, Taj Bradley and Ben Lively. Like both of these guys, both offenses well below average. The total 8.5. I made it 6.5. I'm under in that game. Big difference on the A's today. JP Sears is pitching. He has been really good as of late. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in his last 5 starts. This is a really good lefty, and the White Sox struggle miserably versus left-handed pitchers. So I look for Sears to dominate him today. I laid a half a run in the first 5 innings. I bet it a little differently. -0.5 in the first 5, and I'll lay a run and a half for the entire game instead of laying $1.88. Sign up for the VIP club too. If you don't want to do all this work and crunch all these numbers and look through all this data every day, it's really easy. Go to the VIP, go to Kenny White Sports, sign up for the VIP club. It's $150 a month. That's $3 a day, or no, $5 a day. Oh, bad math. That's the new math that gets me. $5 a day for the VIP club. You get plays from Mark Lawrence, you get Micah Roberts, you get Fordham Betting, who's a sharp kid, young guy that's put in a lot of plays. Indiana Dave. These are guys that bet, and that I've known for years that bet. Some have worked on both sides of the counters. Indiana Dave did, and now he's a bettor. And there's a lot of plays for myself. Alex White puts plays in. I'll put a bunch of plays in and a lot of college football. Got NFL plays for you today. Greg Sidoris, he's got 5 prop plays in there for you. You get all of that for $5 a day. And you don't have to do the work then. You just go to the VIP club, you sign up, $150 the next 30 days. You're getting plays every single day. We use the app Telegram to send those. It's timely and it's quick. So go sign up. That's, it's a bargain. Really, it's everything on my website. We're not going to call you. We're not going to hard sell you. None of that. It's kind of a soft sell. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine with me. I'm here to help you out and try to help you win money betting sports. It's a difficult thing to do. It always has been. As much work as I put into it, 7 days a week, it's still a grind and it's tough. The A's, I am even thinking about now, maybe even parlaying them at that 188 to the Astros minus 203. I've got the Astros 260 today. These are teams that are playing hard and battling for a playoff spot. Looking down the rest of the schedule, I don't see much. I don't see really any value. So no need to really take you through those games. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Again, have a great Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Please subscribe and like. And if you need any information, you want to buy this, the information, the stats, the power ratings, the projections, the season win totals, all of that, and you get all of it. You get Major League Baseball, college football, and the NFL. The power ratings is $25 a month, less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. You get all of that information in your inbox every single day. So for Alex White, remember, Sports by the Book with Jeff Parles, her co-host. They will take you up to the NFL kickoffs. So 9 a.m. Pacific to 10, right up to kickoff Pacific time here in Las Vegas. Thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow morning.